A new film telling the story behind the rise of WikiLeaks has opened the Toronto International Film Festival. Crowds didn't fail to give the likes of Benedict Cumberbatch a warm welcome. The British actor plays the anti-secrecy website's founder, Julian Assange, in the film called The Fifth Estate.
It's an amazing moment. I have very small roles in the other films, but they're incredibly important films. So to be associated with them at all is a real honour, and to be playing the lead role in the opening gala film of the 2013 Toronto Film Festival is incredible. It's really, really exciting.
Director Bill Condon, whose previous films include Chicago and Dreamgirls, says unlike some political movies, The Fifth Estate doesn't tell audiences what to think.
More people and more secrets.
This film, based on two books, follows WikiLeaks' rise to prominence and Assange's subsequent difficulties. Assange remains a polarising figure. Earlier this year, he remarked that the film was a propaganda attack.
He, as well as calling it an act of propaganda, has always described it as the anti-WikiLeaks movie. And I think anybody who sees this movie will, that's one thing that's just, it's a flat-out celebration of WikiLeaks and what they did.
They're coming after us. We need to publish now.
This is the biggest leak of classified information in history.
In many ways, The Fifth Estate presents Assange as a man committed to freedom of information. Freedom is a theme at this year's festival.
A lot of filmmakers seem to be addressing current themes of freedom, transparency, control of information, but also historical stories as well. Mandela, the story of Nelson Mandela and his fight for freedom in South Africa.
There are a lot of fact-based films in Toronto this year, and strong documentaries. One highly anticipated came from a filmmaker who spent a lot of time focusing on activities in Cairo.
The Square by Jahan Noujaim tracks the events in Egypt, in Tahrir Square, over the last 2 years. She started filming in 2011, and she stopped filming only a month or less ago, following these very memorable characters from different parts of Egyptian society.
Toronto is a festival defined by its inclusiveness. It exists in a city with a very diverse population. 70 countries have films at the festival. Journalists representing media outlets from around the world are arriving in town.
I think Toronto really makes a point to bring films from areas of the world that we don't get to see, productions like Africa, Asia, Latin America, which is great.
The Oscars is what Toronto has become well known for, more specifically for its role as a highly publicised starting point in the Oscars race. In recent years, more than half a dozen Oscar Best Picture winners were first unveiled in Toronto.
Hey Mom, I'm here.
This year there's talk that the family drama August, Osage County, starring Meryl Streep and Julia Roberts, will yield trophies, as might the picture Dallas Buyers Club, in which an emaciated Matthew McConaughey portrays the true life story of an AIDS patient and activist. The Oscars guessing game is now in full swing, with a focus on a few frontrunners. Those films not deemed Oscar contenders can get overlooked.
Anytime you have media covering a film festival as a horse race, then there will be front runners, and unfortunately a lot of the attention will go towards those front runners. This is a very strong lineup and a deep lineup this year with a lot of high quality films, and I do hope that attention remains circulating around all of them as opposed to one or two.
More than 520 hours of films will be screened at Toronto. It's going to be an exciting time, a film lover's paradise.